As dawn broke over Boston on March 17, 1776, the city's skyline was unusually quiet. The British, who had occupied the town since the start of hostilities, were gone. The ships of General William Howe's fleet had sailed away under cover of darkness, marking the end of the siege of Boston. This was a moment of triumph for the American forces, a testament to their resilience and strategic acumen under the leadership of General George Washington. Washington, now with cannons from Fort Ticonderoga strategically placed on Dorchester Heights, had made Boston untenable for the British. This wasn't just a military retreat, it was a symbolic victory that lifted the spirits of the American patriots, giving them hope and momentum. But the war was far from over. The British, licking their wounds, regrouped in Nova Scotia, planning their next move. The strategic focus of the British shifted significantly. The North had proven too costly and too fortified. Their eyes now turned southward, where Loyalist support was stronger, and where they believed they could cut off the rebellion by capturing the southern colonies, thus severing the economic and political backbone of the colonial resistance. The South held different challenges and opportunities. The terrain was vastly different, with large plantations, dense forests, and a coastline that offered multiple landing points for British forces. Here, the British strategy would rely more on naval power, hoping to control the ports and rivers, isolating the rebellious colonies from each other. General Henry Clinton, who would later lead these southern campaigns, aimed to leverage the Loyalist sentiment in the Carolinas, Georgia, and Virginia. The plan was to secure these areas, rally Loyalists, and from there march northward, potentially trapping Washington's army between two British forces. This shift to the south wasn't just a tactical maneuver, but also a psychological one, aiming to fracture the unity of the colonies by playing upon regional differences and loyalties. The British forces believed that by controlling the South, they could drain the American cause of resources, morale, and ultimately its will to fight. As Washington watched the British ships disappear over the horizon, he knew this was not the end, but a new chapter. The war had evolved from a series of skirmishes and sieges into a full-scale conflict that would require the colonies to adapt, to innovate, and to fight with even greater resolve. The southern strategy of the British would test the resilience and adaptability of the American forces, setting the stage for some of the most decisive battles of the Revolutionary War. What significant event occurred in Boston on March 17, 1776? A. The beginning of the Siege of Boston. B. The British evacuation of Boston. C. The arrival of General Washington in Boston. D. The signing of a peace treaty. Why did the British decide to shift their focus to the southern colonies? A. The weather in Boston was too harsh. B. They believed Loyalist support was stronger in the South. C. They ran out of supplies in the North. D. Washington moved his troops to the South. What was the strategic advantage of Dorchester Heights for the American forces during the Siege of Boston? A. It provided a view over the entire city. B. It was close to British supply lines. C. Cannon placement there made Boston untenable for the British. D. It was the only area not occupied by the British, who was planned to lead the British southern campaigns. A. General William Howe. B. General George Washington. C. General Henry Clinton. D. King George III. What was one psychological aim of the British strategy in shifting focus to the South? A. To scare civilians into submission. B. To fracture the unity of the American colonies. C. To celebrate British naval superiority. D. To avoid the cold northern winters. These questions cover key points from the text about the strategic shifts in the American Revolutionary War, focusing on both military and psychological aspects.